But the scares continue. The month, but the fear proceeds to rise. This is the Venom month of horrors 2, Trapped in Time.
A year ago today, we took a look at the classic horror that revolutionized the less you see genre and made everyone afraid of the water. Well, 3 years later, there followed another. The first one was obviously a big hit, but Spielberg was always against making a follow-up, finding the idea just a cheap cash grab, and he refused to even respond when he was asked to direct the sequel. He felt like he had already made the definitive shark movie, and he also had such bad memories at sea making part 1 that he just couldn't stomach to do another. The studio still went ahead with the second film and even proposed a prequel based on a sinking ship that Quint mentions in part 1, but this was soon shut down. Once filming began, they went back to the drawing board as the producers felt it was too dark. You saw the first one, right? Just saying.
Very funny.
But strangely, once the film got going, Spielberg did consider jumping aboard to direct after all, but he was unable to due to commitments to Close Encounters, and he had to miss it, as did Richard Dreyfuss, who was also asked to reprise his role as Matt. The director would end up being Jeannot Soir, who would go on to direct the likes of Oh dear God, I'm in for hell!
Possibly.
Even Roy Scheider didn't want to come back for this one. He dropped out of The Deer Hunter despite his contract still going, and the studio literally blackmailed him, dismissing him walking out if he starred in Jaws 2. The actor hated the idea, claiming the first film already did everything, and the audience would want to see the shark and not him anyway. He constantly argued with the director, which even led to a physical altercation on the set, and he even allegedly went absolutely nuts inside his hotel room to try to plead insanity to get out of starring in it. Okay, now I'm scared.
Oh shit.
Strangely, audiences seem to remember this fondly. It's always the other sequels that get lambasted for being painfully bad, but this one is always stuck in the "it's decent, it's alright" pile. I hardly ever see anybody reviewing it, they just go straight to part 3 or 4. Well, I like to be different, and I'm intrigued. I mean, is it the only good sequel? Because if it is, why was Roy Scheider so against starring in it? Well, only one way to find out. This is Jaws 2. Fun fact for you, this is the first movie ever to use the numerical 2 in the title, instead of the Roman numerals. Book of Knowledge. So we open with some scuba divers discovering the sunken ship from the original film and decide to stick around, pose, and take pictures with it. They're smart people.
Happy to do it.
I mean, this is shark-infested waters, so scuba diving there is already a dumb move, but it was also in the middle of the damn ocean. But oh, what a surprise, the shark attacks. And somehow the camera continues taking pictures even with nobody operating it. It's a smart 1970s camera.
Yeah!
We cut to Martin, again played by Scheider, who attends some Miss Amity award party with his wife. The douchebag mayor is back. Seriously, how the hell did he not die in the first film? Like, his character has every single trait that portrays him as the douchebag character that's going to get eaten, and yet here he is.
I'm not crazy about blind dates.
Oh, they're okay if they got little white canes and tin cups.
That's awful.
Oh, what the hell?
It's very funny.
Also, was this intentional? To make the kids look as much like Steven Spielberg as possible? Oh, he won't direct our movie? Well, we'll show him by casting his exact clones instead.
Yay!
So I guess the party is boring, because Martin and his wife sneak off to pork. No, really, that's actually what they say.
Why don't we get out of here?
Wanna fool around?
Why not?
But then we cut to the next day anyway. I mean, I'm not complaining that we didn't see them pork, it's just kind of weird to have that scene end and then just cut to the next day anyway, just that line was completely unneeded. But the issue I have here is that this just doesn't feel like a Jaws movie. Already it feels like a Friday the 13th film. we're introduced to a bunch of these boring, undeveloped, uninteresting teenage characters that you just know are going to be killed off one by one. The first film had really interesting and charming people, but here we're 13 minutes in and have already been delivered a busload of new ones, none of which are developed upon at all and never will be. And you bet there's a lazy love story in the middle of it too.
Tim, did you see the way she was looking at you? I mean, she wants you, man.
Nah, she wasn't looking at me.
What are you saying? She was staring at you and drooling.
No, I'm thin.
Hey.
I wear glasses.
Hey. Oh, by the way, this love story, completely pointless, but you know, we'll go over that more later. I just thought I'd give you a heads up so you don't get too invested in this generic nerd likes a hot girl who doesn't notice him subplot. Very creative.
Well, Larry, look. Larry, look. Why? Look at her.
Great, thanks.
Well, she got tits like a sparrow.
Remember charming characters? Can we have them back, please? And the weird thing is, that actor actually improvised that line, and he said as soon as he said it, he completely regretted it and actually apologized to the director. But clearly the director said, oh, nonsense, that line's genius, I'm keeping it in.
Take it easy.
Anyway, Martin gets reports of teenage guys peeping on someone's daughter. Because this is what I want in a killer shark movie. I'm half expecting Jason Voorhees to pop out of the ocean riding a shark. Actually, that sounds amazing. Make that happen, Hollywood.
How do I do that?
So we get some of the bland people splashing around, parasailing or whatever the hell this is, until Jaws finally shows up. To its credit, it does actually have a lot of suspense, and it continues to maintain the tension from the original movie, with them making it out okay at the very last minute. But the bizarre thing is, this wasn't the intention. The director claimed they didn't want to continue the suspense thing from the first one because they already did it so well. They wanted to just show the shark right away because we already knew what it looked like. But we don't see the shark right away. In fact, we don't see the shark properly until the very climax of the movie. So even the director doesn't know what the hell he's doing. How are we supposed to get invested?
We've been over this a dozen times.
Anyway, this couple managed to stop the tongue tango long enough to ski in the water, which is when the beast follows them. But Jesus Christ, does it have a damn jetpack on its back? Look at the speed of this thing! The other one struggled to keep up with a slow-ass moving boat. This shark is mates with the Flash! He manages to drag her under, which is again quite suspenseful, but her friend doesn't even seem worried. Oh no, she fell off, Toesy Cow. The shark naturally attacks the boat. We continue to not see the shark that we're supposed to be seeing, before the woman accidentally douses herself with gasoline and goes up in a blaze, but this is just weird. People react to it, and we see from a wide shot that they're not even that far from the shore. Which, by the way, sharks don't actually go that close to the shore as far as I know. I might be wrong, but I doubt it.
Well, I'd like to know which.
But then, why were they even skiing this close to shore in the first place? And then how did a friend manage to keep going and then was able to turn around and go back when they were so damn close? And also, these witnesses would have easily been able to see the first attack of her being eaten and the shark attacking the boat, and they don't do anything. I mean, in the very next scene, Martin speaks to the witnesses and one of them just claims they were having fun before it randomly exploded and she doesn't know why. What, you could see the boat but not the giant roided up fish attacking, you stupid old bag?
Not necessarily.
So they start dragging the ocean for evidence before their boat begins to be dragged away. You know, considering what happened last time where a shark completely dismantled a boat single-handedly and even tore down a goddamn pier, you'd think they'd be more aware and take more precautions. I mean, this is in the exact same town. But oh well, it turns out it's just a power line. Ah, I smell foreshadowing.
I know.
Anyway, we don't want to hear about the shark. Let's talk about how Martin's eldest son needs to hurry up and get a job. And this subplot goes nowhere. There is no point to it whatsoever. Moving on. So the body of a killer whale gets washed up on the beach and Martin is convinced that a new shark did it. I actually really like this. It's trying something new and emphasizes that this shark is even bigger. They've made it so it's killed something of this size. It's a really cool idea.
You don't think that if a shark was destroyed, that another shark could come in?
Sharks don't take things personally, Mr. Brody.
Well, the last one hunted us down, singled us out in the sea, kept coming back like a serial killer, so I think you'll be mistaken there, love.
No, we don't know.
So Martin informs the mayor, but what a surprise, he completely dismisses him and doesn't believe him. I mean, I guess it makes sense. They'd naturally assume that Martin is so traumatized by the events in the first film that he's just a paranoid, deluded mess, so I'll let this slide.
Is it bullshit I got a whale on the beach with a bite in it this big? What am I, an ass?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So during a normal beach stroll, he spots something in the ocean and apparently is still too afraid to enter the water. Dude, you fought a goddamn great white with a spear thing. And you're too scared to walk up to that, knowing damn well sharks don't go that close to shore? Why didn't the shark just eat the body? Is it a fussy eater? Does it not like it that crispy? What's the last one? 8 license plate numbers!
Are you serious?
So Richard Dreyfuss's character is actually mentioned as Martin tries to contact him, but he's out at sea and can't be reached. It's a shame because I think it would have been awesome if he was just able to come back and help for the climax right at the end. But who cares? Martin decides to ground his son.
Hey, Mike, come here a minute.
Yeah, what is it?
I got something for you to do tomorrow.
Well, I kind of had plans.
What, sailing? No, forget it. You're grounded. Beach, that's it.
Not really grounded then, is it? But the bigger issue is this kid putting mustard on a damn hot dog. What kind of sick freak is he? This movie sucks. So Martin is on the lookout for sharks, which even his wife thinks is stupid, but his son is just as obsessed, but with sailing. Remember the first film, how nuts everyone went about not being able to go to a damn beach for 24 hours? His son is so obsessed with sailing, he has to go out every goddamn day. Look at this.
Renee wants to know, what's that man doing way up there?
Man, what man? Yeah. Oh, he's watching, a lookout.
For what?
It's a shark tower. I saw one in Florida. He's looking for sharks.
And he's acting. I am looking for acting classes. So he thinks he spots a shark, rings the bell and yells at everyone to exit the water, which pretty much everybody ignores at first. I must admit that was kind of funny. But no, it just turns out to be a load of blue fish, making people find him even more nuts. But it's fine, because after he feels sorry for himself for a little bit, they somehow find the camera from earlier, and somehow the picture survived the shark attack, and even got developed. How? Just so many cases of how.
I don't know.
And credit to the director, this is just Martin watching a photo developing, and it's somehow really intense. And somehow, despite now having photographic evidence of a damn shark, they still dismiss it! This guy literally killed the goddamn shark in the last film! He kept warning you and you ignored him, and now he's saying there's another shark and you're like, no, he's wrong again! What is wrong with you? They say it's too dark to tell and there's no proof it's an actual shark, but the most frustrating part is that in the original script, there was a very valid reason why nobody believes it. Originally, the town was going to be nearly completely deserted. Due to the events in the first movie, stores were going to be boarded up, buildings crumbling, the economy in complete shambles. The mayor and co would then try to pretty much give the island a complete rebirth, building a new resort and new condos, boosting the economy in the process. There was also a subplot from the original novel that wasn't used in the first film that was going to be used here, where the government owed money to the mob. Yes, really. Holy shit! And the mayor and his buddies would naturally be desperate for the rebirth to be a success, as they'd also need to pay back the mob who helped rebuild it. So naturally they'd disregard all of Martin's warnings completely, leading to more character development. Unfortunately, due to budget constraints, this all had to be dropped, but in the cut we got, he provides so much evidence and has the knowledge and experience of the original movie, and they still dismiss it.
Now, Martin, let's not...
Let's not what, Larry? What?
Oh, Jesus, Larry, huh? Come on, let's just forget it. He won't listen. It's obvious the man has made up his mind.
He won't listen? He's made up his mind? What is wrong with you? I do love Martin's motivation, though.
But I'm telling you, and I'm telling everybody at this table, that that's a shark. And I know what a shark looks like because I've seen one up close. And you better do something about this one, because I don't intend to go through that hell again.
So we get more boring scenes of the uninteresting characters at the bar.
Yeah, they're all gonna die.
Martin returns home, and it turns out he's been fired, and I am not joking. After over an hour, we suddenly decide to revisit that stupid crush subplot from earlier. Yeah, remember how riveting that was? Well, the hot chick fancies the nerd now. Aren't you glad we waited 63 minutes for that? It was vital to the story. What characters are there? Martin is legitimately the only interesting one, and that's down to the first film, not this one. His story arc continuation, I guess, is handled well, but that's all it has going for itself. Anyway, despite being grounded, Martin's son sneaks out with his little brother as well, because of course he does, can't miss a day without sailing. Oh look, a shark attacks, what a surprise.
Get us in, for Christ's sake, get us in!
Get us acting classes, for the love of God, get us acting classes! And do you see what I mean? What's this talk about showing the shark right away? We're 68 minutes in and we're still not allowed to see the damn thing. Oh well, the nerdy dude and his bird are stuck on a tiny ass boat in the middle of nowhere. Poor mini Spielberg. I will admit though, the fin passing the boat is an amazing shot and the shark looks enormous and it's really suspenseful. Fun fact for you, whilst filming this scene, the cast and crew were actually circled by a real shark. They like waved to the director behind the camera and they were shooting a wide shot, but they just thought they were in character and waved back. Credit to the cast for having balls. There is another decent moment where the nerd is in the sea on one side, the shark on the other, and he's trying to swim back to the boat in time, but it's ruined when... It looks like he's taking a damn ride on its back, and it looks hilarious right before the shark smacks itself face first into the boat. But why the hell do the sharks toy around with their food so much in these films? The first one it played with a woman's feet before eating her. This one gives him a ride, lets him slightly climb up the boat and then eats him. Don't play with your food. And then, the scene just ends. Randomly, like, no idea what happens to the woman until later. Just weird.
Hey, shut up!
Anyway, Martin finds out his kids are out at sea and rushes out, even inviting his wife along. Last time you took 2 experienced people. They had experience with sharks. One died, one nearly died, and you're gonna bring your wife?
You sure?
Anyway, they soon find the boat. You know, I'm so glad the shark left politely and didn't do any further damage to it. Did you not see the one earlier where it completely destroyed it? Did it just not feel like it? Like how it didn't feel like pursuing this woman, it just hid the entire time? This shark is supposed to be bigger. It makes no sense that it didn't do any more damage or hunt her down. It's all these sharks seem to do in these movies.
Oh yeah, what does that mean?
So Martin signals for a nearby boat to help and then just sails off. He doesn't wait for it to arrive to ensure they're safe. He just leaves his wife and this defenseless woman on a small boat where a shark was not too long ago and rushes off to safety. Dick. And we finally see the shark as it attacks the kids. I guess it looks a bit better than the original, but not by a whole lot, though we do get some amazing shots of these things flipping the hell over. And there's a really chilling sequence where Martin's son is in the water unconscious and he'll struggle to get him back in the boat on time.
All we have to do is land at Cable Junction and wait.
Yeah, and how are we gonna do that floating on this garbage?
What's after Cable Junction?
The Atlantic. Then Ireland.
God, I'm hungry.
That's not funny or interesting. Stop trying to be funny or interesting. And hell, it attacks the window of a damn helicopter, and this looks incredible, dragging it down. This is brilliant. The kids start being taken out, and although I don't care for these characters, John Williams' amazing musical score kind of makes me want to care more. And this shot of the shark barely under the surface is honestly bone-chilling. Even worse when it eats someone and you can actually hear the bones crunching. But hey, let's see what these have to say.
I'm sorry. Believe me, I'm sorry. I was only thinking of everyone's interest in...
I don't give a damn what you're thinking. All I know is a boy is dead and my son and husband are still out there.
Maybe by Jaws 3 they'll finally believe him. So Martin's youngest is separated from the others and is too traumatized to cooperate in them helping him.
Sean, goddammit! Goddammit, Sean, you listen to me, I'll break your ass, do you hear?
Ew!
'Cause they're gay?
What I don't understand is, they're practically in the water already, look! So one, why don't they just go over and get him? I mean, we get this long, unnecessarily dragged out scene when they could just go and get him themselves. What difference would it make? And two, why doesn't the shark just attack them now? This entire thing makes no sense.
Sure they did.
Anyway, one of them begins praying to Jesus for help. Wouldn't Jesus have been the one who put the shark there in the first place?
That's it!
Before Martin finds his eldest son and does the same thing again. Leaves him on a crappy boat and sails off to safety. This guy is a terrible father. and husband. But he finally arrives on the scene. Everyone's happy. But then the shark attacks and Martin crashes into some rocks.
We're here to save you.
So he somehow lands this 100% flawless throw of a rope in his first attempt from this distance. No. But someone else has other plans. Here's Sharky! And then it just brushes past and doesn't even attack her. I mean, it hurts her, but why would the shark completely ignore her? I mean, it's been eating anyone else who looks at it wrong. Except this woman, and I still don't know why it didn't eat her. Anyway, Martin discovers the power cable from earlier. What a surprise.
Really?
While the shark just circles them. I mean, I guess it's chilling, but they're easy pickings here. Why isn't it just killing them? And Martin, is it really such a good idea to shimmy across a high voltage power line? Is everyone in this movie a moron? And look, his youngest is about to... You know he's not going to die. You know, this movie was originally going to be rated R, but then it was changed. But I mean, the first film had a kid openly get eaten in front of his parents, and it was still PG. But this movie clearly doesn't have the balls to kill any child off. And again, Martin starts using an oar, which is made of wood, to try to bust open a power line. Are you out of your mind? Do you have a death wish? But oh well, the effects are still a bit off, but Martin begs for the shark to come straight for him, which I must admit is completely badass, and he gives it a nice little meal.
Open line! See ya!
It's not dead. It can't be. Wait, it swam towards him. You know, electrocuted it. Everyone's cheering. Woo! There's no explosion or anything. There's a silence at the end. They're staring. There's no way the shark's dead. Wait. Is actually dead. So what was the point of all of that? I mean, it was acted, shot, and edited together as if the shark was still alive. Why was he staring at it? Why did it fall silent? Why did it linger on the shark for no Who cares? That was Jaws 2. Is it the only good sequel? No. It's just the least bad. The script needed a whole lot of work. I do think a second installment was unnecessary, but I guess they could have made it work if they tried out some different techniques, which the film does at some points, but the characters are just boring and most of them don't even die like I predicted, so they're also pointless. Why are they even there? Martin is the only interesting character, his story is well done and it does have some tense and chilling moments, and the climax is incredible. Ignoring how masterful the first film was, this just wasn't a good movie. It's okay, I guess. It's just sort of there and forgettable. I just don't think it's worth your time when the superior film came out just 3 years earlier. I guess next year I'm doing Jaws 3. Yay, 3D shit.